Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Big Benedict, Chapter 12, The Heart of Darkness, Shades of Joseph Conrad here. Anyway, so anytime I'm going to be fighting these Spiny Fiends and essentially just farming for essence in these instances, just for your own convenience, I'm going to speed all this footage up. There's really no way to deal with those guys, so I did discover a couple of new things about this chapter that I never even knew, and that's always refreshing. But there are searchlights among the trees, and you could take those out. I had no idea you could do that, but so the first one you could take out over here is kind of, I had to kind of figure this out for a while to see where it was, but if I'm going to aim in right here, and it's going to take me a moment to locate it, but you see it's a rotating object like right above where I'm aiming right now. It's going to come back and we're going to see some yellow lights, but it's right there. See it? Take it out. And I honestly don't think it does much. The enemies still see you just fine. You see, they're just as accurate. They almost hit me right there. And even when you get over to the enemies, I don't know. It's just a nice little touch you could do if you're interested in something new for the level. There's two more searchlights ahead too, and I don't know. Maybe it does. Maybe there is something that works a little differently here. I hate running along the water here. I almost died. I used I was trying to cast the Inferno from in the water there. I was so desperate. So grab the save point. I'm gonna get consumed by my own flames that I killed these guys with here, and so you can't backtrack because once you jump off into the water here, the gate goes up. And see that searchlight? Take that one out, and then there's one over here on this tower, and that's both of them. So you see, I'm crossing the water here, but these guys are just as accurate here. At I really I got here without getting hit by a rocket, but perhaps I really don't know if they could see you less, or what I like to do here, because I know there's a chest that was going to give me all my Nimpo back, so I could use the level 3 Inferno and target 3 foes at a time here, and just have it just auto target the foes that I can't even see because they're too far away and they're behind all the huts and stuff. But the Inferno will take all those guys out. I imagine, undisputedly, I don't know what is it in or on, I'm not sure, but I think it's undisputably, and incontestably. I used to be an English major, so I'm always a stickler for words and stuff, but that's how I knew that Joseph Conrad wrote Heart of Darkness. I've never read the book, but I've read a lot of other books that are probably better than that book. So I did see Apocalypse Now, and that was a good movie. But this isn't about movies, this is about video games, and I always like to stay on topic. Some people probably get bored of that, but when I'm playing a game, when I'm watching a person play a video game, I don't want to hear them talking about a movie or something irrelevant about their lives. I tune out. That's just the type of person I am, so when I do my own commentary, I like to keep it how I like to, how I like to watch it. So, occasionally I'll say something, if there's boring stuff happening, but for the most part, I like to stick to what's going on and talk strategy. There's just nothing I hate more than when I'm watching somebody and, they're talking about a movie or, a television show, and it's just like, just talk about the fucking game. We're watching the game. Why are we talking about something, or some other thing? I'm not even, it's nobody even in particular. It's just anybody. There's so many people that do it. Some people just don't even talk about, some people will talk about the game and then come back to, have tangents and come back to the game, which is cool. Some people, they won't even talk about the game at all. It's just like, what the fuck am I even watching this for? Anyway, so we're going to get a save point pretty soon. You just got to do a few more tasks, do a little swimming. I know you could press the X button to go faster. I don't like to do it. A couple of foes over here you need to target with your bow and arrow. I think there may be just 2 guys, and then when you get onto the other side after swinging on the branches, I think there's a chest. I almost missed that one. I think if you miss the on landing charge, it's okay, but you may have to go a couple steps beyond where you land to trigger these Spiny Fiends here. And the reason I know they're called Spiny Fiends is I used to have the guidebook for this game in Sigma 1, but I just exhausted it. I used it to death. And the Sigma 1 guidebook, it's called the Prima Official Guide, Strategy Guide. I was just looking for like bestiaries and like just like general information. And the guidebook for this one wasn't good. The guidebook for Sigma 1 was a lot more detailed. And I think there's even something I found that wasn't even in the book. It's like, fuck, you know, if it's going to be like that, then I'm going to send this book back. So I did send my controller back that was defective, had sticking buttons. So now I actually have a controller that the buttons don't stick. Whenever you get a PS3 controller, make sure you test out all the buttons, because if they're sticking, it's just going to cause so many problems. Anyway, we're going to do a cable whatever here. And the store is over there if you want to go over and visit Muramasa. He'll give you some he'll give you some goods if you give him some cash. He's a greedy son of a bitch though on Master Ninja mode. And what I'm going to do in the next chapter is, and this goes against what I was talking about in Chapter 2 of not wanting to UT spam, but in Chapter 13, I was looking at my footage, and from my Master Ninja walkthrough, it was 40 minutes, and that's a long level, so watch out for these guys. This is a really cheap trick. Like, why do they do that? You know, why do they? That's just kind of cheap and just kind of dirty to like hang that little. I mean, to put the safe statue in plain clear sight and then have it dim on you as you approach it, and then I guess you know you could backtrack, you know, if, out of a reaction, but it's just kind of dirty to me. And as far as this level 2, and I'll be getting back to what I was talking about in Chapter 13, but about this level, I just don't really care for this level either. I don't like the assortment of enemies. So you can save it now. There's a little hidden path to the left. They do another dirty trick on you after you get this box, which has fish or money. And I usually try to make it give me money by you know just re-getting it, and if, you know, if I'm getting fish, I'll have them kill me. But it doesn't matter in this mode here. Because you get a Talisman of Rebirth on this chapter. It's really good. But the boss, the dragon, I didn't really have a problem with him as much as like Zidonius and Elizabeth. So getting back to the Elizabeth chapter, the next chapter, I was looking at my footage, and it's like a 40-minute video, and there is so many opportunities to get money on that stage that I think it's feasible to get a Talisman of Rebirth to rack up 50,000 essence. I really do. So I'm going to put all this in fast forward too, because this is just completely boring. But in the next video, all I'm going to be doing is spamming UTs, and I hope that doesn't throw anybody off, but I can't resist testing it out to see if I can get 50,000 essence, because I'm at the first save point and I already have just shy of under half that, and I'm only like 10 minutes into the level, so Chapter 13 is one of those levels where it's really tough, really tough. I think Chapter 14 is one of my favorite levels, but we get a save point down here, so do take advantage of it. The next enemies we have up here are we have 2 death worms to deal with, and also some enemies that are called, and I shit you not, chainsaw bazooka zombies. And I know that because, like I said before, I used to have the guidebook for this game, and I got a beheading on that guy, which is good, but they still need to be taken out. You could do the flying swallow on the death worms like 3 times in succession. It takes quite a lot to get those guys down. These guys shoot cannonballs, which you can block, but you'll take damage, and it will break your guard. I said this in the last guide I did for this game. The best scenario you want for the chainsaw bazooka zombies is you want to sunder the limb that has the gun on it, and you can't pick and choose which limbs you sunder. It's just random. In the next chapter, I was shooting them. I was trying to shoot the arm that had the gun on it, so that then they're just walking around and they don't have a projectile to fling at you. Like right now, that instance right there, I just OT'd that guy, but as long as they don't have a gun, you could like just safely distance yourself away from them, and they will like kind of crawl over to you, or if they're downed, or they'll just walk towards you at a snail's pace, and then you could do a red UT and get a lot of money on them. But the level 4 sword really decimates these guys, and you really have to take advantage of the fact that you have the level 4 sword here, and you have it on the next stage too. It's not until chapter 14 that you get that sword. So I'm taking full advantage of that fact, and also take advantage of the fact that you have the you also have the dual blades, which you get in the Poison Blood chapter, I think, and that's also level 4 too. But I don't like dual blades myself. But whenever you're grinding for money and farming for essence, make sure that if you want the most money, I guarantee it because I tested this, you want to use the level 4 sword or the level 4 dual blades, because if you're doing if you do, oh wow, he hit me right in the crotch there, son of a bitch. If you're doing red UT essence charges, the UTs, you can say you're doing it with the End Stang at level 3, and on an enemy. I tested it with the same batch of enemies, and I did no variation except for switching the weapon, and I was getting more money using the level 4 Dragon Sword every time, and the level 3 sword, the level 3. Every level 3 weapon I had was giving me exactly the same amount of money. Like it would give me like 10,000 or 1,080, just for an example. And by the way, this is an item chest down here. And then every time I used in the same situation with a different sword, I would get like 1,200 something, like a couple $100 more. So trust me, you get more. Definitely, you get more. So. There is a Jewel of the Demon Seal over here on story mode. It's kind of easy to overlook this little area over here, but I believe that I have got everything on the stage so far. So there's a course here with the Devil's Way Mushroom and this chest right here. I think it has some money. These chests, I think they have $1,000 every time, or perhaps $5,000. So save point here. And this next battle I don't like. It's just really boring. And I'm equipping the scythe here. So when you approach the plasma barrier wall there, you're going to have, it's just a really odd combination of enemies. We got the chainsaw bazooka zombies plus these Spiny Fiends here. They're also known as garbage bugs, I think. Yeah, these guys from Sigma 1, you should recognize them. They're pretty damn deadly if they jump on you. I mean, there's nothing that's not deadly in this game. I shouldn't say that, but here's the guy who lost his gun, and the computer had a hard time finding out that I was trying to press the triangle button there. Had a little bit of screen tearing there, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe it was just my rendering process. But I haven't actually rendered this file yet, so what else? So yeah, there's I don't know, some chapters will have a talisman. I think every chapter should have a talisman of rebirth. Now, that's not saying that I would depend on it in every chapter, but I think there should be one that's really well hidden. Like the next one, you can't even miss it unless you really obtuse. But it's just why do some chapters have talismans of rebirth? Why do some have not? I mean, why do the female chapters not have those when they're so hard on Master Ninja mode? Just a really, I mean, the knowledge would get out. I mean, everybody would know after a certain amount of time where everything was. It's just inevitable because people publish all the stuff on YouTube. But who cares? I mean, hide this shit well. So here's the Talisman of Rebirth right there. Ideally, you want to save it. And I save it twice, actually. I save it. I did a save right there. Just know that I did save it there. And I also save it after the next battle and before the final battle. So you can also, even though the cutscene occurs with the floating bodies in the water, the slain melee ninjas in that pretty scary scene, you could go back under this little underpass under here in the water and go back and save it. So, and also I don't make any purchases until I get all my money. So. So here's the cutscene up here. I edited it out. That's really hard to say, by the way. If you try to say those words, edit it. It's hard to say. And no wonder I stutter on those words every time. So, yeah, I fell in the water right there. And trust me, these chainsaw bazooka zombies, I mean, if they kick you, they will use their chainsaw on you, and it's pretty. It's a cool animation. It's really bloody too. But you know, there's really no hope for you if you could kind of see the animation coming. That like the final, like it's like because it looks a little differently. I don't know if it's in the same speed. Maybe it's in a little slower speed, so the player has a chance to react to it more. But you could really tell when they're going to do a move that you cannot get out of whatsoever. So I think this is the first time in the game I'm using the gun here. The gun is just so slow. I hate using it. It's like in any like Gears of War game, if I have an opportunity to use a shotgun, or if I have the opportunity to use something else, I never want to use a shotgun. That's the problem with the scythe right there. It does that UT and it goes the opposite direction. It's normally because I'm not near enough, I'm not close enough to the enemies, but that's what I don't like about the scythe. Should be a little bit more know what you're trying to do with it. But after this fight, I would probably recommend that you go back and save it, just to be on the safe side. I think there's a couple more garbage bugs or spiny fiends, whatever you want to call them. And then we're going to be going to the next area. You get a checkpoint on the boss, but if you die anywhere leading up to the boss, you're going to have to go back to the save point wherever you last saved it. So just make your way forward here. This is kind of I always thought there were items hidden like up on those pillars, but there are none that I know of. So this area, more chainsaw bazooka enemies, plus they have some death worms, and these guys are pretty problematic, so watch out for these guys. As far as ideally, you want to have for the dragon when he comes, before he comes, like when you kill the last guy, you want to switch your loadout before the transition to the boss fight. Switch it to whatever Nimpo and whatever weapon you want, so that every time you die on the boss, you'll have exactly what you need without having to load every time before the battle starts. There's nothing worse than that, because it takes time to load. Plus, you got to wait for this to load and then close and save it. And anyway, so that's what I did right over here, but I edited it out. This dragon's really easy, actually. When he does his little when he claws at the ground with his foot, that means a spire of flame is going to come up, and you need to dodge out of the way, because that's where it's going to come up wherever you are. Now I'm using the void to immune myself from damage when he jumps on me. He runs straight across the screen right there, but if you have enough Nimpo, you can pretty much immune yourself from attacks. That attack he does with his tail is blockable, but it breaks your guard and does deal a little bit of damage to you. So it's kind of like some residual effects of it, of the getting your guard taken down by this guy here. But you use the level 4 sword, it works really well, and obviously I'm taking advantage of the fact that this level had a talisman of rebirth, so he just hit his body, hit his tail, hit his legs. Just stay away from his head. It's obvious enough. I mean, piercing void works pretty good to deal some damage to him, and it's a pretty straightforward fight. Now we're executing his tail here, so nothing changes about how his behavior. I mean, he doesn't go into like a berserk mode. His moves are all the same. It's really nothing except that he doesn't have a tail in this instance, and now we just finished him off, and now we're going to be going on to chapter 13. But there's the scorecard right there. I did very well on this stage, and I hope that you did just as well or better. So take care, and I'll see you guys in chapter 13. Thanks.